Okay, the little tip I have today is for accurately marking a hand embroidery design. You will often start with some kind of a line drawing that indicates where the position of your flowers are going to be. Embroidered motifs are often round. Bullion roses, cast-on stitch flowers often are round. Your hand embroidery is only going to look as good as your marking. If your marking is inaccurate, your stitches are going to look inaccurate. So a little tool that you can use to make your marking easier and more efficient. On many types of fabric, they are sheer enough that you can just set the template underneath, lay the fabric over top. You can see the design through the fabric, and then you would take this brand is Helix, but I don't think it's not brand specific. You get these at an office supply store, and then just fiddle around with these circles until you find the one that matches up to the circle you're trying to replicate, and then you can just quickly draw that in. You get a very accurate circle to work your embroidery around. The example that I've got here is a little hat. All those flowers are marked in across the front in washout marker, and then once it's embroidered, I've ended up with something like this, and all those little flowers are nice and round. If you are working with a piece of fabric that is too thick or not sheer enough for your embroidery template to actually shadow through from the back of the work, you can take a piece of vellum. You get this stuff at craft stores, and take it and lay it over your embroidery design and pencil your embroidery design on. Use your template again to make sure you get those circles nice and round. And then you take this piece of vellum. I like to use a trolley needle. You can use a big darner needle or anything that's got a sharp point on it. And you are going to pierce out 3 points on the circle, plus the center, with the trolley needle. Then it's easy to overlay this onto your fabric. Take your washout marker and dot in those 3 dots plus the center. Once you have 3 dots plus a center, it's pretty easy to find the corresponding circle, match it up to the 3 dots. As long as those 3 dots sit on the circle line, you get the right one, then it's a pretty easy fix to just put that circle in that way. This is an example of a little wool jacket. That fabric's really thick. There was no way I could mark that embroidery design from the back, so I would have made a vellum of it, overlaid it onto my fabric, put the dots on, drawn the circles in. If you get into a real bind with a piece of fabric that is not only thick, but also dark colored, there's probably not a marking pen on the market that is going to show up on a wool surface of a dark fabric. You would take your vellum that's already punched out like this, overlay it onto your fabric, and take a little bit of powdered chalk and just drop a little bit of chalk onto the surface and tap it into those holes, and you'll get a little circle mark of chalk dots that will help you mark a dark, thick fabric.